Yeah, my name is Marvin Landwehr. I'm the product manager here at WabcoWürth, and I'm responsible for the AC service unit. And to my right side, Uwe Platz.
Yeah, hello, my name is Uwe Platz. I'm working here as a product trainer, especially for AC, and I will give some support to Marvin today.
Right. Today I will give you an overview about air conditioning service in general. I will show you which accessory is very necessary for your workshop. What does it mean, air conditioning in general, if you buy the products direct from us, from WabcoWürth? What are the highlights of our COOLIUS portal? The COOLIUS portal is very important for you as a distributor, but also for your customer. I will give you an overview what is very important for you and your, I will give you an overview what do you need add on, not only the devices, but what do you need as consumable, for example, a consumable, sorry. Uwe will give us an overview about the most frequently sources of errors. And I will show you a nice tool. We call it the revenue generator. With this generator, you can show your customer directly how cost-effective AC service will be. And yeah, we have also adjustment to manufacturer, for instance, MAN. This is a project from our key account management, and I will give you a short overview about this. And last but not least, our projects for the future. Here I will give you an input or insight of connectivity. It is also important for the workshop today. And CO2 as the new refrigerant. Yeah, Uwe, before we start, can you tell us why is it very important to do a service job on the AC system?
Yeah, this is a very good question, Marvin. I'll try to answer it in short. Yeah, everybody has a fridge at home, and I'm frequently asked why I need to do a service. I never do anything, not any job at home to my fridge. Even after 20 years, I just do nothing. I just turn it on and let it run. That's true. And at the same time, this is the reason why there is a core difference. We have a so-called open system, an open structured system fitted into a passenger car or a truck or any vehicle. In comparison, at home in the fridge, we have a totally solid and hermetic system. Hermetic means that we have only soldered connections or welded connections. So this means it's absolutely tight. No molecule can escape this system. In comparison, a vehicle has many fittings on board, up to 20 different fittings, only sealed by an O-ring or a gasket. And we have a dedicated loss of up to 10% of the refrigerant per year, which means we are losing the refrigerant in a way that at some fine day we will not be able to operate the system again. And at the same time, as we are losing the refrigerant, environmental air, including humidity, is entering the system and accumulating water inside it, which gives another problem because we are producing acid by that, and the acid is of course also harming the system from within. So we have changes in the chemical composition, which lead to a lower cooling performance overall. So a lot of problems will happen. And we have a filter dryer, which is only dedicated for a small lifetime because it only can absorb a certain amount of water and filtrate a certain amount of particles out of this refrigerant until it is saturated and needs replacement. So this is, in short, said why we need to have service to a mobile air conditioning system.
Yeah, everyone who works in a workshop has heard about the refrigerant, the booth refrigerant. What is the background behind the refrigerants? Why do we have two on the market? And what will the future bring?
Yeah, this is also a very good question. We have had some different kinds of refrigerant, and this let's say mobile air conditioning is a quite a young business. It started maybe in the 70 years of the last century with R12. R12 was the refrigerant meant for all purposes. Even you were able to find it in spray cans used for any purpose. But it was found that the greenhouse effect was so big that the European community found themselves forced to take some corrective actions. And so this R12, or also known as Freon, has been forbidden on from 1991. And then to replace it, because the purpose was still there and the need as well, R134A has been introduced, which has been approximately only 12% of this greenhouse effect, measured in GWP. So GWP for short is the global warming potential, and GWP1 is CO2, and all the others in relation are, of course, a little higher. We had almost 12,000 with R12. We have 1,430 with 134A. And also up to then, nobody thought that any changes needed. But on from the late 90s to 2000, we had almost some kind of an explosion of the appearance of vehicles on the market, which has been fitted with an AC on board. So, and today you are not able to order a passenger car or a truck or a van without an AC fitted on board. And this is the situation. So we have many emittents which produce a lot of kilotons per year of emission. And again, the European community found it necessary to take some action. And since the 1st of January 2017, the R1234YF is mandatory to be deployed in every new produced passenger car. So the GWP in this refrigerant is now reduced to 4. Yeah, this is definitely an improvement. And this is the reason why we have 2 lines of units here. And as this R1234YF has a little disadvantage, as it is flammable, we need a replacement for the passenger transport business as well, which is R513A. And this is a composition of these 2 refrigerants in a certain percentage, just to suit the needs of the passenger transport branch. Yeah, and this is normally, if you want to order a 513A unit, you just order a 134A unit with a different label on. But the function and the hardware are exactly the same. So just to give you an overview, these 3 kinds of refrigerants you will find on the market today.
Yeah. And now we know the reasons for the service in general, and you give us an overview about the history of the refrigerant. But important for the audience will be what is the difference between our devices? Why do we have 6 in our portfolio? And yeah, 3 for the old refrigerant and 3 for the new one. And what is the application for every device? When should I use which device?
Yeah, you're right. There are some reasons, of course. We have different purposes, different expectations, different throughput rates of vehicles per day. And this is why we have different devices on the market. So first of all, we are starting with the 10 series, which is already covering more or less all the properties and covering all the needs of the professional workshop, as it is at least able to do a fully automated service. We have a 11 kilogram internal reserve. The next bigger one has 20 kilograms of reserve. This is the 50 series, also available for both of the refrigerant. And we have the A30, the biggest one, with a 35 kilograms internal reserve. Yeah, this is definitely suitable for bigger sized air-conditioned system. Of course, you can service smaller ones as well, but for the smaller ones, we have more sophisticated versions here for several reasons. First of all, we have here this small device, the A10, which is also suitable for mobile operation. You can transport this on a van and operate it from there, even using just a voltage compensator. Yeah, and we also need to observe that, of course, the smaller series it needs more labor time to do some certain jobs, and for the more sophisticated user, we have here the higher level of servicing. For instance, if we compare, we have only one fresh oil container on the 10 series, which means if I need to change the oil system because I want to service a vehicle with an electrically driven compressor, then I need to change the bottle, do a flushing cycle all manually, which costs me approximately, let's say half an hour to 40 minutes. And here we have already on the machine both of the different fresh oil systems, so that we can simply select and start work. And to make sure that the system is always pure and no contamination can happen from one to another vehicle, we have an automatic flushing cycle which always cleans the whole service hose area and the manifold after every service job. Yeah, this is a big improvement, because in the meantime we have a lot of these electrically operated compressors where we need this function. Yeah, then we have heard there is another regulation valid since 2006, where we have the necessity to do a pressure loss test in case a vehicle comes empty to us in the workshop, or we have an unexplainable high loss of refrigerant within a short period of time. And therefore we have here this function. You see a nitrogen bottle. You could also use foaming gas for the job, because this nitrogen pressure loss test is being totally handled by the machine and the soft and the hardware without any interaction from the user, compared to the classic way where we were using the double gauge manifold. You are saving another 40 to 50 minutes doing this job over the machine, because the machine is controlling the inlet into the system, it's controlling the pressure, and it is monitoring the pressure for the testing time and documenting the test, whether it has been succeeded or whether it has been failed. And this documentation is very worthwhile for the workshop, yeah, because even though you have saved a lot of time, you need to document it to be on the safe side, because we have in the meantime environmental laws which are very strict, and not to fall into a situation where you have nothing in hand, and maybe you are fined for something you never did that way. And there is another feature with this 50 series. We are able to offer this machine with an analyzer. And this is not just an identifier like the small handheld devices, where you can make sure that the refrigerant you are about to service has a purity level of at least 95%. This analyzer is give you a complete overview over the composition in percentage, which is a much more helpful information than just the purity degree. Because here you can see also if we have, for instance, in the system, a different kind of refrigerant, maybe they use hydrocarbons, R290, which is propane, or R600A, which is isobutane, which are very popular in some countries. Or we also have the opportunity to have an overview over, let's say, substances which are not wished inside the system. For instance, if we have some decomposition products of R12430YF, this is also can be made visible here. And in order to treat the bigger amounts, we are not using the pressure difference to fill the system. We are having here a liquid pump to fill higher volumes of bigger systems, so that we can finish the job within an adequate time. Yeah, I hope that this was giving a little overview. We could, I could explain you much more because we have much more features inside here, but I don't want to burst the time frame today.
Yeah, Uwe, many thanks for this. As you see, we have for every application a solution in our portfolio. If you need a quick overview about the biggest difference and the application of each device, you can use this battle card if you want. So we will send you the presentation after this web event. Another important thing regarding AC service in general is the perfect or the suitable accessory. So we at WabcoWürth have a lot of accessories in the portfolio. We will present you today the most important one. For example, we have a flushing kit. Uwe, what is the why should we have a flushing kit? Why is it necessary for the workshop? And what do you think? When should we use the flushing kit?
I would even start a little earlier. When the vehicle comes into the workshop, we already need accessories. As mentioned earlier, we have these small identifiers, for instance. Identifiers are necessary to really make sure that the vehicle I'm about to treat now, I'm about to service now, is having more or less adequate refrigerant on board. Then analyzing this refrigerant, I also would strongly recommend to use such a simple looking glass cylinder, which gives me the opportunity to look at the appearance of the refrigerant and the oil, which gives me information about the amount of oil, the oil ratio, the oil refrigerant ratio, where this is still within the permitted range. I also can make sure that I am not having an overheated oil, which is changing color to brown or black, is running around in the system, because from that moment, we are not talking about a simple service, then we are talking about a full-scale repair. Yeah, and then you're right. If I found something is wrong, for instance, I have too much oil in the system, or I need to replace a component like the compressor, then I need to flush the system, which is the most economical way to treat an AC system after repair, because the alternative would be a complete disassembling of the vehicle, putting out all the lines and all the tubes and hoses, and clean them manually or replace them. And so this flushing is only using a fraction of the labor time needed compared to the complete disassembling and completing job. And there it makes sense to have this flushing kit and also the suitable adapters for it. Yeah, and if we are talking about wasting refrigerant, we are also need to have this disposal kit. Yeah, this would be for me the basic equipment before I start to offer AC service on a professional way.
And let me add some information regarding the flushing process. We have the suitable adapter set for the bypassing of the compressor, also in our portfolio. You will find on our homepage, which I add here, more information about the flushing process. Why is it necessary, as Uwe mentioned, and which adapter set do we need for which compressor type and for which car or vehicle type. Yeah, we have some other accessories, for example, the cover hood, the hose extension. The hose extension we need, for instance, if we do the job on a construction machine or on an agriculture machine, because there the AC system is very hidden and
it's partly roof mounted.
Yeah,
you need to take the ladder to go up on the roof and really reach the system.
Yeah, so the standard hoses of 3 meter are not the perfect one, so you need an extension. Then, as you see here on the Y50A, we have the nitrogen bottle holder on the back side of the Y50A. And one very important accessory which is new is the adapter set, or are the adapter sets for the hermetic bins. The hermetic bins comes from our partner WEBEVENT, and with this adapter set, which I have here, you can fix the hermetic bin direct to our machines. So the adapter set consists of 3 adapter sets, one adapter for the PAG oil, one for the POE, and one for the UV dye. Let me show how you can fix the echo bag, as we call it, intern to the machine. Yeah, remove the old oil bins, and then you can mount the new one through the adapter direct to the machine. And you can do this with PAG, UV, and with POE. And the most the biggest advantage of this solution is that no moisture will penetrate into the AC system. Because if you have moisture into the AC system, then the conductivity will increase, and this means that, yeah,
the oil will not be usable anymore.
Yeah.
But you have mentioned another very important thing to save a lot of labor time, because part of the preparation is to daily check the container and dispose the oil which is not okay anymore,
Yeah.
which has collected too much humidity. And you can leave this just there until it is empty.
Yeah, and a mixture of refrigerant, moisture, and oil will lead to a substance, and this substance is very dangerous for the components into the AC system.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so these adapter sets are now available here at WabcoWürth, and I think this is a very good solution, also regarding the e-mobility. So far to the accessory. Yeah, what we have forgot now, Uwe, is the secure and the mobile use, of our devices. We have on the back side scale design with this scale locker. We call it scale locker. Yeah, you can unlock or lock the scale inside of the device.
Yeah, exactly. This is the very simple and tool-free solution, which can be used at any time you like. So this means if I put it upwards here, I lock it, and now I can go over a bumpy road or a bumpy yard. I can transport this device on a van, on a bad road, without harming the scale, because the scale is rated 60 kilogram. And if I give it too much shocks, then I can damage this scale transducer. And in this case, I can avoid this. And now you see, within 3 seconds, I'm operable again.
Yeah. Furthermore, we have very high quality components at all of our devices. We are certificated by TÜV Süd, and as Uwe mentioned, we are ready for e-vehicles and hybrid vehicles because we have the internal flushing function. Then what we have also is our own production in North Italy. So that means that we can fulfill the requirements of the market and of the key account. We can customize the products, for instance, the MAN product, which I will explain you later. And we have integrated refrigerant management. With this function, you can document the service jobs, you can document how much refrigerant you use per service, and this is also important for the regulation.
Yeah, we have two big points here. We can, of course, fulfill all the environmental regulations, and we can do a full cost calculation, because you can sum up all the refrigerant purchased in, you see what you have sold out, and this is, I think, very good transparency for the accountant.
Of course, yes. Yeah, another important point is the warranty claim. Why should you sell the original parts from us, from WabcoWürth? Yeah, with the or a high quality product like the AC machines needs maintenance. And with our maintenance package, yeah, you can carry out a correct and a professional maintenance. And yeah, with this original parts, yeah, this is the only way that you meet the warranty requirements. And yeah, the warranty duration increased from 12 to 24 months. And yeah, this assure you yeah, high quality over the entire service life of the machine. Yeah, you can order the maintenance package under the follow article number. You see it here in the presentation. And yeah, the difference between the both maintenance is only that we have in the maintenance of the package of the Y50A, yeah, additional parts for the refrigerant analyzer. Now, what is very important for you is the COOLIUS portal. I will show you the advantage of this portal. Yeah, in summary, the portal is yeah, a cloud or a web browser on which you can find a helpful overview like the manuals or the instructions. You can go or you can find an overview about the spare parts of our AC machines. And what is very important, you can download the current software update, and you can generate maintenance and flushing codes. Let me show this in real. So here, let me skip to English. Yes, here you see the customer access. So sorry, I forgot to tell you. We have three accesses. One access is the customer, one access the hotline, and another access is the distribution manager access. And here you see the customer access. With this access, you can generate flushing key, you can generate the maintenance key, and you can yeah, download the manuals in different languages. You can see what is the actually software update, and you can compare this update with the update on the machine. And then you can download the update and yeah, play it on the device via the USB port. Here you have the options to download different instructions. For instance, the instructions of the flushing kit. You can download CE declarations. You can see your unit. You can see your history of the generated keys. For example, how many maintenance keys do I have in the past, and yeah, things like this. What is here also important is that you have the direct link to the parts manager. Here you see the parts manager of every device, A10 to A30, and you can order here direct the spare part if you need it. Yeah, so far to our COOLIUS portal.
Shouldn't we mention the bus database as well?
It's a good point, Uwe, of course. Let me show you this function. If you have a A30, let me show here, then you have also the opportunity that you can select the right refrigerant quantity and the right oil type, and this type and the refrigerant quantity depends on the AC system which is built into the bus, and you can select your AC model, you can select your AC manufacturer, your model, and the bus manufacturer, and then you can show which yeah, combination of the AC system is possible.
Yeah, we are very often asked why we do this on the web and not on the machine. But you see, we have in total more than 4 different search items, which is necessary because the variability on a bus is comparable to a building. You can build in your building whatever kind of heating plant you intend to want to have, and the same situation is here with the buses. So this means you can configure such a new bus really according to all of your needs. You can change the cooling performance. You can only have the driver's cabin cooled. You can have everything cooled, and this makes a very high variation, and this is why this database is really unique. And we cannot, of course, not do it on a simple device like an AC machine.
Yeah.
But here, this is absolutely adequate, and you have always access at any time of the day to find the right system, and saving lots of time for searching the web or asking some dealers or whatever.
Yeah. So it's a very good opportunity for you to find the right refrigerant amount and the right oil type. Yeah, here you see the most important consumables which you need for a first air conditioning service. Of course, the right refrigerant, the right oil, and the adapter sets for the extraction of the refrigerant bottle. And as you see direct on Uwe, the personal security equipment. Then we have other supplementary accessories in the portfolio of WEBEVENT, for instance. Very important here is things like the leak stop additive. We have accessories for leak detection, and the evapomate is for the purity in the cabinet of the car. And the gas detector, for instance, is to detect the Formier gas if it comes through a leakage of the AC system. Yeah, if you a beginner in the area of the AC service, you ask yourself what is the most easily damaged what I can do or what can occur. So Uwe, can you tell us what are the most frequently sources of error which will occur if you do
you're right.
the job?
You're right. Of course, there are opportunities to do something wrong. Today, not so much we have had in the past, but there are you need to have the certificate of expertise or competence, which is mandatory according to the EC regulation. And yeah, this is valid in all of the countries of the European community. So this means the certificate should be with you. Otherwise, you are endangered to pay a very high fine. Because then in this expertise level, you are taught how to handle, how to treat this refrigerant, what kind of safety measures for personal safety, for the environmental safety are necessary. Yeah, then of course always work with protective equipment because this refrigerant has some very bad impact on your health if you swallow it, if you breathe it, or if you get something into your eyes. Yeah, this is something you immediately need to see the doctor, and if you can be happy that possibly no further damage has occurred. Yeah, then you should also observe the condition of the Schrader valves, because we have the service couplers we have here on the parking position, also on the passenger car or on every other vehicle. And just to make sure that this is not the source of a problem, you should always have a look into it. If it is dusty or maybe the protection cap is missing, we need to clean it before. Not just coupling on and starting the service, because then you transport substances and particulate matter into the system, which definitely does not belong there. And also check whether it is fitting straight, so use the special key and tighten it if necessary or if possible, because this is also a source of error, very often overseen. So if you disconnect the vehicle and the customer is leaving and coming back after 4 weeks, the further things are all on your expense because you have to grant warranty. Yeah, then before we do anything on the passenger car, it's not always something to do with the refrigerant or the amount or quality. We also have, in the meantime, every of these AC systems controlled by OBD. So we should also have an appropriate check of the fault code memory, whether there is something waiting for us which is not expected. Because if you do the service with the machine, the customer, of course, naturally expects the AC system working properly after his visiting of the workshop. And if there is a problem, which is not only a service, which is making a repair mandatory, then we should have the information first and discuss this with the customer before any damage happens. Yeah, then the condition of the system as such should be checked in best practice together with the customer. Go there with the customer, turn on the engine, turn on the AC on full performance, check the blowing temperature, and then evaluate together with the customer which corrective measure needs to be taken to get the system back into full operation. Yeah, transparency is very important. Then the amount of the filling quantity is especially more important than it has been in the past, because the size of the air condition has been reduced really to almost 50% of the amount it has been maybe 10 to 20 years ago. A Golf 3, for instance, has 1 kilogram of refrigerant. Today it has 450 grams of total filling quantity. And if you have an overfilling rate of only 10%, this is already enough to really reduce the cooling performance to a way which is feelable for the customer. The customer will say, what's wrong here? It has been working better before. Yeah. So this means the old rule, better put in a little more, is not really working here. Just really stick to these. And also you see this in the accuracy. In the past, we have had plus minus 50 grams. This was 10 or 20 years ago. Today we have 15 plus minus, which is also highlighting the necessity of accuracy in filling. And there you need also appropriate equipment for. Yeah, and then we should not forget that we are given by law, we are forced to do really a pressure loss test before we fill a vehicle which comes in empty. Yeah, like we mentioned before when we were talking about the accessories. Yeah, and also very important is always to have the information which is the right kind of oil. When you replace the compressor or something, if it is unavoidable, please always make sure to use the right kind and the right amount of oil, because doing a mistake on this can cause a compressor damage after only a few weeks. Yeah, these are the most common failures you can do, and if you are respecting all of this, then you have a smooth business.
Yeah, I think also these are very good points which you have to know before you start with an air conditioning service. Now I will show you a very nice tool which you can show you directly to your end customer, the turnover generator. With this generator or with this amortization calculator, you can calculate direct to your customer how cost-effective AC service will be. Here you see in the first rows the acquisition costs, or the finance type number 2 is the leasing opportunity. Here you see, depending on the leasing term, the monthly leasing rate. Then you have here in the next columns the variable costs. The variable costs consists of the refrigerant, sure, and the UV additive and the compressor oil. But the amount of the UV additive and the compressor oil is much more lower than the amount of the refrigerant. Then here you see the cost of the maintenance of the air conditioning machine. As we explained you in the presentation before, how important the maintenance is. So that means also that you have costs of the maintenance. And you have cost of the filter material, you have costs of the working time, you have cost for the drive of the worker, and that leads to total cost of the maintenance. But if you have a maintenance agreement, for example, with a technical field service, then you only have to pay 275 euro, which is a little bit lower than the total maintenance costs without a contract. Then you have also to consider that you need money for the working time direct in the workshop for the workers. Here we calculate with a hourly rate of 80 euros. And if you need only 10 minutes in average per AC service, because the AC machines are all full automatically, so you only need time for the connect and the disconnect of the quick couplers. That means, you need only 10 minutes, and this leads to a cost, or this leads to costs of one air conditioning service of 13 euros. Yeah, then you have a maintenance cost prorated per air conditioning service of roughly 4 euros, and the sum of the variable costs are 20 or 21 euro. And the other side of the air conditioning service is the incoming side. So what turnover can you do with the AC machine? Yeah, the market price for the air conditioning service price is significantly differently. So in some cases you have to pay 80 euros, in some cases you have to pay 90 euro. Here we calculate with 90 euros. And if you then you have the difference of the costs and the income, and you come to the gross profit, and the gross profit here is 55 euros. And if you compare the gross profit to the monthly leasing rate, you come to the result that the unit operates at a break even after only 2 air conditioning service per month.
And it's even interesting for the car owner, because if we invest this 90 euro every second year, and we're going further 20 years, it's even not half of the amount we would have to invest for a single repair, a compressor exchange or something comparable. And this is also a very good argument. So the customer is having the benefit, the workshop is having a benefit.
Yeah, of course, in the first step, acquisition costs of 3,000 euro is a big amount, I know. But if you consider this in detail, you see how cost effective a service will be. And you can also do the calculation with the acquisition costs and not only with the leasing rate. If you compare the gross profit with the acquisition costs, you come to the result that the break-even point is only after 45 air conditioning service in total. I think this is a very good thing to know.
Very good ratio, yeah.
So this calculator you can download from our homepage if you want, and you can do this calculation directly with your customer. Yeah, now we come to the key account projects, and as I mentioned, we have adjusted our Y50A to the requirements of MAN. The adjustments are the following. We have only one oil connection because MAN want to work only with PAG oil, and this PAG oil should be hermetically sealed. That's the reason why we use here our hermetical pins, which I show you before. We have especially quick couplings on the machine. The quick couplings have a special safety valve, and the cover hood is included and things like this. What I have to mention here is that we don't have an official release of MAN, but we are currently working on this. But we meet all MAN requirements, and that means that we get a positive evaluation if the device will be come to an audit. And we have written confirmation from MAN in Germany that we can use the machine for the MAN companies in Germany, and we can start our sale. So this is also important for the international MAN service partners. Yeah, another important future project here at WabcoWürth is CO2 as refrigerant. You know, the air conditioning service up to now was nice to have. So because with the air conditioning service, with the air conditioning system, you only cool up the cabinet of the vehicle. But today, regarding e-vehicles, you use the air conditioning system also for cooling the battery management and the components of this. So that means if the air conditioning system is failure, the vehicle will stop. So the necessary is much more important. We at WabcoWürth, we are working on a solution of a machine for the application of CO2. We will start with the machine in the summer this year. And we develop in the first step a machine for a small volume application. And after this, we also will develop a machine for the large volume. Here you see an overview which vehicles and which cars, which trucks and which buses up to now have a CO2 heat pump. And you see, there are a lot of vehicles with CO2 heat pumps up to now. It will become more and more important in the future. Another important project on which we are currently working is connectivity. What is the background of this? Yeah, Internet of Things and digitalization is not only a topic in the industry, but also in the workshop. That means that the devices in the workshop will talk together through Wi-Fi or through Bluetooth. And this is the current market trend. So we have on a cloud or on a website our callable real-time data, such refrigerant consumption or the oil consumption, and we can send from the cloud or from the website direct to the machines service orders. For example, you can say, okay, please do the vacuum job. What are we at WabcoWürth divided the project into 3 steps. We have in the first step the focus on our hardware development. The hardware will look like this prototype here. This is a USB dongle, and with this dongle you can easily connect the dongle direct to the USB port. And if you will connect the device with the dongle, a virtual website is generated. And from this website, or on this website, you can show every function what you will see on the display on the device, also on the homepage and on the cloud. Then with this possibility, you allow the user to interact via the application, and an external printer will also be connected into the network of the AC machine. That means that our printer is not longer necessary, for instance. And our hotline can also use the connectivity for reading out the error codes. And our vision is that we sometimes connect our air conditioning machines with our VCI. And in the last step, we want to generate a digital twin. With this digital twin, we want to give our sales rep a support, because a machine, or to take a machine direct to the customer, is very difficult, because a machine has a very big weight. And with this digital twin, we can demonstrate which components work together on which phase of an AC machine, of an AC service. And our hotline can also use digital twin for a remote control, for instance. And you, as customer, can use the digital twin as a training opportunity direct to a customer. Yeah, so far to our projects. I hope you have learned something about air conditioning service today. Yeah, thank you from my side. Thanks for your attention. And if you have further questions, don't hesitate to contact me or Uwe or Ralf. Do you have some question from the chat? Okay. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for your attention. And Uwe, do you have last words to the audience?
Thank you for your time devoted in the evening. Yeah, and if there is nothing to cover regarding question, I say thank you for joining us. And yeah, please be with us and the next time also. Thank you very much.